Time to get you in the loop on the iLoud MTM MKII speakers. This review is from the point of view of DJs and DJ producers wanting something to use in their home studios. If that's you, I've got you covered. We've been using them for a while here at Digital DJ Tips. We know the speaker that this is based on, the iLoud MTM MKII. So I'll tell you all the differences now and why you might want them. So firstly, let's just talk about why you might want this design of speaker. It's a proven design. These look very similar to the ones that came before them. And the reason for that is a couple of things. Firstly, they're very compact, as you can see. But at the same time, they are professional, they are heavy, they're clearly built to last, and they sound excellent. They've got a really good reputation for the audio quality. When we recorded a course with DJ Jazzy Jeff, what do we see in his studio? A pair of these. So look, these are respected speakers out there. However, they've been brought into the technology that's now been used on the iLoud Precision monitors, which are above them in the range, which is namely this. This is the microphone that's provided with these and with the Precisions before them, which is called the Arc Auto Calibration device. So this is quite cool. The idea is that you plug this into the speaker itself at the back, and they provide the lead for that. That's what this lead here is for. You plug it into the speaker, and you can really, if you can, they provide this stand here. You can put it on a microphone stand and get out of the way. But I've been doing it by literally just holding it like this, keeping myself out of the way. The idea is you measure in 4 areas around where you're going to be using the speakers. In other words, where you're going to be stood with the microphone. The speaker listens. You just touch a button on the back to move on each time. The instructions tell you how to do it. It's all covered in our iLoud Precision review, by the way, if you want to look into this further. The outcome is that it tunes the speaker to the room. In other words, it will make it sound better. Now, it's subtle. You're not going to get a speaker that suddenly sounds like, wow, that's totally different. But it's there, it's useful, especially because the speakers are ultimately quite portable. So you could take this with you and you could tune them to wherever you're using them. It's good to see this added. Now, if you buy 2 speakers, you get one of these microphones, which makes sense. There's no need for 2. Or you can buy the speakers individually, and then you can buy the microphone individually if you want. So why can you buy them individually and can you buy them in pairs? Well, another thing you'll see these speakers used for is in professional surround sound installations where audio is being prepared for like Dolby Atmos and all that kind of stuff that I don't really know anything about. But if you look at those kinds of setups, they've got them hanging in all kinds of places. And so having the ability to correct those rooms is useful. However, for those people, it actually goes a little bit further because on the back of the speaker, you can plug them into your computer and they have a piece of software called X Monitor software. And so if you put these into there, you can send speaker emulations down here. You can correct phasing issues and delay and so on, way beyond what DJs would use them for. But you get access to this software when you get them. And maybe speaker emulations will be something you'd be interested in looking into. For most of us though, we're going to be adjusting them using these at the back. You've got a bass extension option. You've also got the ability to cut and boost the low and high frequencies here. Interestingly, you can also make the input more or less sensitive, which might be useful to you as well. And there's a useful desk button which lets you set them into desk mode, which means if you've got them tight against the wall, say on a computer desk or something like that, then it will just tame the audio a little bit without you having to worry about the microphones or the software or anything like that. But let me tell you one thing that hasn't changed with these speakers over how they've always been. And again, one of the reasons I think people really like them, and it's this. They have these stands on the bottom. Now, they actually also come with these. And these are quite useful because you can put these down. In fact, let me do it this way around so you can see the speaker. You can put that down like that, and then the speaker can be isolated from what you've got it stood on, but it can be positioned horizontally. So if you do have a higher shelf in your DJ area, you might want to do that. However, look, this thing at the bottom here is really, really useful because you can screw it on so that they point right up at you. So if you were to be DJing on my desk here, this is the right height for DJing, but it's not the right height for the speakers. The speakers can be positioned so that they're literally pointing right up at you. So you see the speaker looking like that, not pointing down because you're up here somewhere, they're pointing right at you. And for beat mixing and for just general clarity and having the sound nice and loud without them being turned up too loud, which of course can be really useful if you're DJing at home, the speakers are very near you, they're pointing right to your ears, and so you don't have to have the actual physical volume so loud to have it nice and loud in your sweet spot listening space. They both come with one of these, and they can be adjusted in all kinds of areas. As you can see, if we look at the way I've got these two adjusted here, this one's pointing right forward and this one's pointing right up. You can flip them round, there's 2 holes on the bottom and you can slide them backwards and forwards as well. For that alone, I think these speakers are worth it because they're insanely useful for setting up in all kinds of circumstances. One of the things that DJs often do is buy wedges and put them under their speakers, or get extra shelving, or buy stands to put their speakers on that hold them higher. You don't need to do any of that with this because it comes with this really elegant solution built in for positioning. That's one of my favorite things about the whole speakers. So a little bit more information about them then. They now go up to 112.5 decibels in volume apparently, which is just a tiny bit louder to how they used to be. They go down to about 48 hertz with a nice level response there, and apparently down to 38 hertz. Now this doesn't mean an awful lot to me because I don't think in numbers, I think in what I hear. Ultimately, the bass is really, really good for the size of speaker. And if anything, it's got a little bit better in this one. I think these are one of the best monitors if you're serious about having something better than just standard speakers at home. Some DJs are used to having, say, a 2.1 gaming system with a subwoofer tucked underneath. And if you think, actually, I'm not getting the clarity I want, they're not so good for my productions, I can't really hear properly what my music sounds like, upgrading to a pair of these might be a really good idea. Also, if you're looking at speakers which are a little bit more traditional, the kind of box speakers where you haven't got all this adjustment here, then you might be thinking, what else do I have to buy to get those speakers properly fitted where I am? The answer to these is you don't have to buy anything else because they're insanely flexible in that way. Ultimately, the nicest, most unique little monitor that we've used in the last few years just got a little bit better, and we're fans of the new ones. It's the iLoud MTM MKII from IK Multimedia. There's a full review of this written up over on Digital DJ Tips. If you've got any questions, ask underneath. Meanwhile, get good, get out there, make the moments, and you're now in the loop on these speakers. I'll see you again soon.